Hold on a minute. Sebentar lagi kita akan mulai webinar kita, Bapak Ibu. So, welcome everybody to Little webinar about Future Ready Campus Merdeka in 90 days. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Bapak Ibu yang sudah terdaftar, yang sudah mendaftar, yang sudah menghadiri webinar ini. Sebagai informasi, sampai saat ini tercatat hampir 900 kurang sedikit yang sudah terdaftar di webinar kami, luar biasa. Lalu ada sejumlah 400 universitas dari seluruh Indonesia, dari ujung timur saya rasa sampai ke ujung barat. Kalau saya absen satu-satu ada perwakilannya. Sebentar lagi kami akan memperkenalkan panelis kami. Tapi first of all, dan mohon maaf kalau nanti saya berbicara campuran antara bahasa Inggris dan bahasa Indonesia karena beberapa panelis tidak bisa menggunakan bahasa Indonesia seperti Bapak dan Ibu. So again, I'm going to use English. My name is Tommy from Lytton. I am a country manager for Indonesia. Please allow me first to thank Mr. Leslie Law from Lytton who make it happen. And for everybody that's already been here, for all the esteemed panelists, guests of honor, all the steering committee that helped to make this webinar happen. I'd like to say thanks to mostly PPTSI West Java area for our partners, Sefima, and also I would like to let you know that we also have a support from Singapore Chambers of Commerce and Industry. And because of the support, I am gladly to inform you that the total register is 800 somethings. It's nearly 900 with more than 400 universities across Indonesia. So I can assure you, Bapak Ibu, that we will have interesting topics and people sharing from various background. So let me just introduce our panelists first. Jadi Bapak Ibu, kami berani menjanjikan bahwa dalam 2 jam ke depan kita akan punya topik dan bahasan yang menarik dari beberapa orang dengan beberapa background. Jadi saya perkenalkan dulu singkat beberapa panelis kita. Pertama, kita akan kedatangan Bapak Leslie Law. He is the CEO and founder of Lytton, also known as the series entrepreneur, investor, and educator. Nanti akan dihadiri oleh Pak Leslie Law. Beliau adalah CEO dan founder dari Lytton, juga terkenal sebagai entrepreneur, investor, dan juga educator. Lalu nanti ada Dr. Profesor akan juga dihadiri oleh Profesor Dr. Uman Soherman, AS, MPD. Beliau adalah Head of LL Dikti wilayah Jawa Barat dan Banten, LL Dikti 4. Lalu kemudian ada Dr. H.R. Riki Agus Yadi, SE, MEAK, CFRA. Beliau adalah Sekretari Jenderal AB PPTSI West Java dan juga CEO dari Yayasan YPKP. And then we will have Mr. Syuk Kabda. He is the Senior Media Consultant and founder of Indonesia Education Forum, a multi-media platform for all education sector players. Lalu selanjutnya akan ada tamu kehormatan kita, Bapak Wikan Sakalinto, ST, MSc, PhD. Beliau adalah Director General Vocation Education, Ministry of Education Republik of Indonesia. Lalu kemudian ada Bapak Norman Sasono, he is the CDO of Dana Indonesia. And then we will also have Bapak Dr. Dadan Rahadian, beliau adalah Vice Rector for Academic at Telkom University. And then we also have Mr. Yang Lambre, he is the CEO of Editon. We will also have Dr. Winardisani to help me for the question and answer session. He will be acting as a moderator. So for those of you, untuk Bapak Ibu yang nanti punya pertanyaan, silahkan nanti menggunakan chat facility di Webex yang Bapak Ibu pergunakan. Itu di bawah nanti ada figur chat, nanti Bapak Ibu bisa type in di situ. Lalu nanti Pak Dr. Winardi akan mengolek pertanyaannya to the right panelist to be answered. Okay, everybody, let's start our webinar. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Bapak Profesor Dr. Uman Soherman. He will deliver his foreword for this webinar. Bapak Profesor Dr. Uman Soherman is head of LL Dikti Region West Java and Banten, LL Dikti 4. Professor Uman, we hand over to you. The stage is yours. Please turn on your camera and unmute your speaker. Professor Uman,
Ya,
it's your time. Profesor Uman.
Ya, suara saya bisa
Uman,
masuk?
tolong dibuka unmute-nya, lalu video nya.
Oke, bisa masuk nggak, Pak Tommy?
Jelas, Bapak?
Tes. Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Terdengar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Ketua HBPTSI yang saya hormati, Wakil Ketua atau Ketua 1, Dr. Riki, yang sekaligus sebagai Ketua Yayasan Sangga Buana yang saya hormati, para narasumber dan panelis yang saya banggakan, dan saudara-saudara peserta webinar untuk kesekian kali yang melibatkan para narasumber bukan hanya dari Indonesia tapi dari dunia internasional. Alhamdulillah pada hari ini kita bisa bersilaturahmi, dan ke depan 2 jam ke depan kita akan membahas sesuatu yang sangat berharga, terutama bukan hanya dalam pengembangan perguruan tinggi tapi dalam pengembangan kapasitas dosen berkaitan dengan pembentukan kampus Merdeka yang membuat Merdeka belajar bagi mahasiswa. Kampus Merdeka bukan hanya merdeka dalam merancang kurikulum, tetapi bagaimana keterampilan dan kreativitas dalam merancang kurikulum itu membuat para lulusan itu juga menjadi orang yang sangat merdeka. Jadi kampus yang merdeka bukan hanya merdeka bagi dirinya untuk menjadi kampus yang memiliki identitas, martabat, dan harga diri, bukan hanya di nasional, tapi internasional, tetapi juga mengantarkan kemerdekaan bagi para lulusan supaya mereka bukan hanya tertaraf dengan orang lain, tapi juga memiliki kesejahteraan sebagaimana yang dicita-citakan oleh negara ini pada saat negara ini dibentuk. Saya pernah menyampaikan hal yang sama kepada Pak Riki, bahwa semua orang sangat paham dan semua orang tahu negara ini dibentuk dengan 3 tujuan yang utama. Yang pertama adalah melindungi segenap tumpah darah dan seluruh tanah air Indonesia. Yang kedua, mensejahterakan atau meningkatkan kesejahteraan umum. Dan yang ketiga adalah mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa. Pada hari ini, 2 tujuan yang ada di atas akan diupayakan oleh kita untuk sama-sama berguru kepada orang-orang yang sudah punya pengalaman yang lebih dulu bagaimana meningkatkan kepercayaan, meningkatkan keterampilan mahasiswa, sehingga mahasiswa tidak hanya tercatat pernah menjadi seorang mahasiswa, tetapi dia memiliki kapasitas, memiliki kemampuan, memiliki kecerdasan dalam kehidupannya. Nah, oleh karena itu, dalam dunia kampus Merdeka ke depan, bahkan pada hari ini sudah terasa, kita tidak lagi berpikir bahwa, atau baru berpikir dan dibutuhkan keterampilan pada saat masalah sudah kita lalui. Tetapi mudah-mudahan kita senantiasa memiliki kapasitas untuk melakukan kritik, autokritik, dengan kritik yang sangat tajam, sehingga kenyataan bisa kita dapatkan, sehingga pengalaman bisa kita pelajari, dan menjadi pengalaman yang sangat berharga. Karena apa? Karena kita pada saat beberapa tahun yang lalu kita mewacanakan ke depan akan dituntut melakukan pembelajaran secara daring, maka pada hari ini sudah hampir 90 hari kita ke belakang dan belum jelas kapan kita akan berakhir, maka kita sudah dituntut untuk melaksanakan pembelajaran melalui daring. Pertanyaan yang muncul, bukan hanya identitas capaian pembelajaran konvensional dan daring itu sama, tetapi ternyata bukan hanya para mahasiswa, bukan hanya para siswa dan orang tua yang dihadapkan kepada masalah-masalah ketersediaan fasilitas internet, sinyal yang bagus, tetapi yang menjadi pokok permasalahan tidak sedikit di antara kita sebagai dosen belum familiar dengan menggunakan teknologi komunikasi dan informasi. Oleh karena itu, Kampus Merdeka adalah kampus yang mampu menjaring kebutuhan, kampus yang mampu menyediakan sebuah pengembangan, professional development, tidak hanya mengacu kepada para mahasiswa, tetapi juga kampus Merdeka akan selalu menoleh dan selalu berpikir lebih penting bagaimana kita meningkatkan sisi profesionalisme seorang dosen. Nah, pada hari ini kita akan dihadapkan kepada berbagai pengalaman melalui panelis, melalui narasumber, dan melalui keynote speaker. Maka kita akan berguru bagaimana dunia ini terangkat dan bagaimana kampus kita terangkat, dan pada intinya standar dosen sebagai standar utama dalam standar nasional pendidikan tinggi itu akan terbangun. Nah, mudah-mudahan ke depan dan kegiatan ini, Pak Tony ada masalah? Oke. Ya, dan mudah-mudahan kita ke depan dengan kerjasama seperti ini, dengan kolaborasi yang sangat bagus seperti ini, maka dosen-dosen di Indonesia akan terangkat sejajar dengan dosen-dosen yang lain. Oleh karena itu, dalam kesempatan yang berharga ini, saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada ABPTSI, terima kasih kepada Litan University, ini Pak Tommy, ya, dan terima kasih kepada panitia yang sudah berkolaborasi dengan berbagai pihak untuk terselenggaranya kegiatan ini, dan mudah-mudahan kegiatan ini akan selalu berlanjut, dan insya Allah LL Dikti sebagai lembaga layanan pendidikan tinggi bukan hanya akan berdiri di belakang, tetapi akan berdiri di depan untuk memajukan kampus yang ada di Jawa Barat dan Banten, dan pada akhirnya bermuara pada peningkatan kualitas sumber daya manusia Indonesia yang bisa diandalkan dalam menghadapi kehidupan yang lebih kejam dibandingkan dengan kehidupan di kampus di mana kita berada. Mudah-mudahan dengan cara seperti ini, learning environment akan terbentuk, professional development akan terbangun, assessment standar juga akan bisa dilaksanakan dengan baik, sehingga pada akhirnya kita bukan hanya mengantarkan mahasiswa yang punya karir and life skill, tetapi juga dibangun oleh dosen-dosen yang sangat profesional. Saya pikir itu yang perlu saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi, selamat berwebinar, dan mudah-mudahan kita senantiasa mendapat lindungan dan Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Terima kasih perhatian semuanya. Mohon maaf bila ada hal yang tidak berkenan. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, Profesor Uman. Terima kasih atas forward-nya. Thanks, Professor Uman, for the inspiring forward. So please turn off your camera and mute yourself. Mohon maaf, Prof, bisa dimatikan kamera dan di-mute. Terima kasih, Prof. So, selanjutnya, Bapak Ibu, selanjutnya kita akan mendengarkan sharing dari Bapak Dr. Haji Raden Riki Agusyadi SE, MM, AK CFRA. Beliau adalah Sekretaris Jenderal ABPPTSI Jawa Barat dan juga CEO Yayasan YPKP. Beliau akan share mengenai kondisi perguruan tinggi swasta di Indonesia. Pak Riki, I am handing over the stage to you. Please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Pak Riki, silakan. Waktu kami persilakan. Mohon jangan lupa Pak, kameranya dinyalakan dan di-unmute.
Oke, udah? Sudah ya? Tommy, udah? Pak Tommy?
Suara oke. Sudah terdengar Pak?
Oke, ya, siap. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
The webinar participant who are happy, I Riki Agusyadi, Secretary General of ABPPTSI West Java, would like to give a little explanation about what and how ABPTSI can be a guide and mentor for the implementation of the webinar for the organization of higher education participants throughout Jabar and Banten, especially in the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's get started. ABPPTSI guidelines, mission, good governance, facilitate private education.
Mohon maaf sebentar Pak Riki interrupt. Profesor Uman boleh minta tolong di unmute, Prof. Terima kasih, silakan dilanjutkan Pak Riki.
Sudah di-unmute.
LBPPTSI at glance mission, good governance, facilitate higher education for further development, encourage public for participation. We have vision, being professional organization with global mindset to foster educating people. Facilitator, main role of LBPTSI, umbrella of governing bodies for PHPs within West Java above 13 PHPs, sekarang hampir lebih dari 300 perguruan tinggi swasta. Ini perguruan tinggi swasta di Indonesia ini hampir 80%-nya. Sisanya 20-30%-nya adalah perguruan tinggi negeri. Trade management, advisor to private higher education institution, partnership, collaborate with the government agency and other organizations. Sanctions amid corona pandemic. Item teaching and learning before face-to-face classroom and workshop. Amid crisis, blended system learning. Student activity before pandemic, live discussion. Amid crisis, 0. Research before laboratory foods. Amid crisis, almost 0. Canteen full with university members. Amid crisis, 0. Enrollment predictable before predictable. Amid crisis, uncertainty. A prospect before predictable. Amid crisis, not sure. Revenue before stable, but amid crisis, not sure. Online no before unknown. How to respond to this crisis? New mindset, mutual beneficial, new approach in enrollment, new management, new job opportunity, new requirements, new research, new education work. The strategy is the strategic collaboration. All private university under LBPTSI have now formulated a new strategy toward the formally a higher education strategy to attract students by building field and luxury building. At present is trying to meet and high-tech network so that the opportunity for collaboration with triple helix is very possible. Laboratory can take advantage of collaboration with the industry so that can learn mathematics and can get recognition with time certification. Actors can also enter the industrial world to participate interactively accompany students. That is how LBPTSI begins. Hopefully, can provide an overview of this organization. Thank you respectfully. Wassalamualaikum. Buat kami. Untuk kami, terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Rizky. So,
Rizky, waktunya sudah habis. Mohon maaf. Mohon di mute lagi, Dr. Rizky. Sudah di mute, Pak?
Sudah.
Dokter Riki tolong di mute lagi Pak dan di turn off ke kameranya. Oke, terima kasih Dokter Riki. Sekarang kita mengerti bagaimana kondisi dari private higher education in Indonesia. So Pak Riki, mohon maaf di mute lagi Pak, suaranya masih terdengar dari background Bapak.
Nggak ada.
For your information, Bapak Ibu, Dr. Riki ini sedang sakit, jadi dia memaksakan untuk menghadiri webinar kita. Terima kasih banyak, Pak. Kita lanjutkan, Bapak Ibu, dengan panel selanjutnya. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Leslie Low. He is the serial tech entrepreneur, investor, and educator, and he is also the CEO and founder of Litten. He will share his experience and knowledge about future-ready university in digital economy. We are now handing over to you, Mr. Leslie. Everyone, please welcome Mr. Leslie. Mr. Leslie, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Selanjutnya, kami mempersilakan Bapak Leslie untuk menyampaikan presentasinya. Bapak Leslie adalah CEO dan founder of Litten, juga terkenal sebagai tech entrepreneur, investor, dan educator. Beliau akan sharing mengenai pengalaman dan pengetahuannya mengenai future ready university in digital economy. So, Pak Leslie, it's your time now.
Thank you. Over the next 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to share with you our own experience in transforming Litten to be future ready for the new digital economy. We started our own transformation about 5 years ago in Singapore. I was appointed by the Singapore government to actually come up with a transformation plan for the education sector in Singapore. As part of that plan, we took that plan and do our own transformation. So I would like to share with you, when the COVID came, the switch over from what we already had, a blended learning approach, to a fully online approach was quite painless because of the work that we have done over the last 5 years in that transformation. The changes going on in the industry has been going on for the last decade, for the last 10 years. The speed of change has become faster and faster every day. And the COVID-19, in fact, have given it that final push for the future of work to be a digital workplace. If you look at traditionally our workplace, we would always think about it being very physical. When we want to meet people, the place that we will meet them, the assumption would be it would be a physical meeting. But today, that has changed. In fact, the assumption when we say we will meet you, what we mean is actually digitally meeting you, like what we are doing now. And so the world has changed. And COVID certainly speed up that change. And Singapore spent 5 years, multi-billion dollars investment under our Smart Nation initiative. What has happened over 5 years? The same effort, the same outcome has been achieved over the last 8 weeks in Singapore, when Singapore were locked down. And essentially, there's no longer a choice. Everybody have to work at home. And so the speed of change has been rapid. It took 75 years for telephone to reach 50 million users. And Pokemon Go took 19 days to reach the same number of users. And imagine, COVID-19 speed that up even further. no industry would be spared. In fact, education industry would be one of those that would be significantly impacted. This particular survey done by Gartner talk about rank education as the second sector that would be most impacted. In fact, 80% of our business would somehow be disrupted. And not just education, not just e-commerce, even industries such as construction industry, which is very physical, even that has been and will be disrupted. So it's no longer a question if we should transform, we must transform. And for the education industry, clearly we have seen that barrier being thrown down for transformation. In the education industry, there were many barriers. One of the barrier actually is a government. The government mandated, even in Singapore, our courses, some part need to be physical. Like before the COVID, 33% wanted must be face-to-face for all those government-funded programs. But once the COVID hit, the government have switched over to make it 100% blended learning. Even our primary school got into homeschooling. And therefore, the barrier is down. And education providers around the world are making that change. There's another development happen in the workplace, which is the skill shift. The digital transformation have required future job to need a lot more of technology skill. In fact, most future job, disregarding whether it's a technical job or non-technical job, there will be an increase in technology skill. In fact, 55% of hours would be, it will be increased by 55% for all future jobs. Not just technology skill, there will be also a new skill needed, 21st century skill, such as collaboration skill, advanced communication skill, will see an increase because most future work project will be innovation oriented. When it's innovation, you need not just the technology skill, but you also need innovation skill. Therefore, future talent need to be multidisciplinary. The future workplace will be very different. One part of the difference would be the workforce will be a lot more diverse. There will be 5 generations of generation will be working at the same workplace, from the generation Z to millennial to baby boomer. And clearly the millennial habits, what they do, what they want to do are very different. So the future workplace would have to accompany, support these new entrants to our workforce. And every job will be changing. Robots will be taking over. More and more jobs will be replaced by robots. Everything is about innovation, and everything gets shared. All over the world, certainly including Indonesia, been one of the most active in adopting digital technology, digital business model. And Indonesia introduced many unicorns, so-called, that actually disrupt and change the way that we work. So clearly, the future workplace will work very different. The skills that we need will be very different. And the post-COVID certainly would require a lot of this change in our education system to support that new skill that would be needed and the new workplace that will be emerging. Conventional education has generally three issues. The first issue is that the curriculum tend to be knowledge-based. When you join a university, you are taught to be maybe an IT person, so therefore you are taught IT knowledge, but the curriculum need to be more targeted for a specific job. So therefore, the curriculum need to be more focused so that you deliver competency and skills needed for specific job. And learning also need to be more industry oriented, therefore deliver the relevant skills and competency required for specific job. So rather than joining a university, saying what discipline I want to join, business of IT, we should create curriculum that induct them into very specific job. And the way we access learning would have to be a lot more flexible. Traditional learning have fixed schedule, and that would not work because the future way of learning, many of this learning would learn through work. Therefore, the access to the learning would have to be highly flexible, in fact, personalized. The economy moves so fast. In fact, learner now expect when outcome, and knowledge itself is not going to deliver that outcome to the learner. In fact, you can get knowledge for free now. You can go to Google and you can get those information at your fingertip and you get it for free. You have Coursera. You can get attend those education sessions. It's free. So clearly there is a gap. The gap in terms of delivering that outcome, because knowledge do not mean career induction, and the new education provider probably need to provide not just knowledge, but a career induction outcome, meaning that when they graduate, they should already be inducted into a career. They have already started work. So, education in Singapore, education in Indonesia, education in Myanmar, they are all not very different. They are all academic education. And many of these governments realize that academic education do not deliver work-ready graduate. And increasingly, many countries have moved toward applied models of learning, model that have been adopted and have produced work-ready graduate, like the model being adopted by Switzerland, by Germany, and these are applied learning model that has been widely adopted by this country that have made them among the most competitive economy in the world. Singapore is probably one of first in the region that decided that applied learning is an integral part of our education system. So Singapore government launched what we call the Skill Future Initiative. is an initiative to integrate applied learning across our entire education system, from primary school to secondary school to university to polytechnic to our adult education system. In Malaysia, they allocate 4.9 billion Malaysian ringgit to deliver applied learning through their TVET master plan. In 2019, China designated 15 billion US dollar to mandate and transform traditional academic university to what they call universities of applied science. And I'm heartening to hear that Indonesia, with your new education minister, are also moving toward applied learning, with the industry component being deepened, lengthened. So clearly, there's no question that this is the learning of the future. So when university transform, one of the part of transformation, obviously post-COVID, is that learning, part of it has to be online. But that's not what is going to solve the problem, because the main problem with the conventional education industry is really that it's academic learning, it's not applied learning that better able to deliver skill and job. And therefore, this transformation, we believe that you need to do, you have to do both. You need to change the way that you teach in terms of the modes of teaching. And we don't think that a pure e-learning would work. Many education providers have tried that out. Coursera have tried that out. Udemy have tried that out. It doesn't deliver that type of completion rate. A 3% completion rate is not going to deliver the outcome expected. So the Singapore approach is 5 years ago that the way we teach, the most ideal approach would be blended. So blended applied learning actually means work-based learning. Can learning happen through work? So combination of blended learning, work-based learning should be part of our learning delivery pedagogy. So this is one slide to just share with you the Singapore prescription of what the Singapore education provider supposed to follow, supposed to do. Incidentally, 5 years ago, I actually co-chaired this committee. This committee are tasked to come up with two things. The first thing is that how do we deliver that learning mode? Secondly, how should education institution work differently? Because many business model has changed. If you look at Gojek, if you look at Grab, when they started, they are essentially, a transport provider. But today, they are a lot more than transport provider. They can be a fintech, a bank. They can be food delivery. So businesses has to be a solution provider, meaning they might have to deliver different product that coupled together, bundled together, would become a solution. So as an example, when you deliver education, that might not be enough, but you need to maybe couple with job placement. A training with job placement would deliver career induction. Just excuse me 1 minute, my family is talking. Apologies. So this is actually a chart that we co-chair. We came up with the roadmap. So Leighton actually took that, invest $10 million, and we transform our curriculum and essentially develop a new business model.
Leslie, do you want to move your slide? I think you're still at the transformation map.
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay.
So essentially, the business model is to deliver innovative way of business, education business model, as well as innovative way in terms of how we deliver. So if you read inside the slide, the innovation about business innovation is about how we integrate training with business solutioning to support business performance and industry transformation. So our program should integrate training, perhaps with job placement, that deliver that career induction, or we should integrate training with consulting mentoring that deliver that business transformation. So that's in terms of business outcome that could be different with configuring your solution differently. The second approach is that it's a blended learning, and it needs to be driven by not just technology, but also the pedagogy innovation. So I'll share with you what is our pedagogy innovation that enable the delivering of this learning outcome that deliver tangible career induction and business transformation. So we did 3 things, and this is also what we want to share with you. Having done our own transformation, we would like to be able to take whatever we have done over the last 5 years and work with you so that you can do the same thing we've been doing in a much shorter, probably a much painless way. So let me share with you first how we digitalize learning that are able to deliver career and business outcome. That's the first thing we do. I'm also going to talk about how you need to change your campus. Our campus are traditionally very physical campus. Your campus would need to be different. I didn't mean that it actually need to be physically too different, but it need to be an online to offline campus. It need to be a campus that able to support a learning journey that you learn through work. So your campus need to be potentially where the learner will work while they are learning. In order to do this, nobody can do it on their own. Despite Leighton spent many years investing in the curriculum, in order to get it implemented in any of the country, we would need we want to work with local university so that you can contribute the part that you have, we can contribute the part that we have, and we beyond just university and Leighton, we also need to bring in employer into the ecosystem. So we need to change and come up with an agile ecosystem that able to scale and implement the new business model. So our product, our solution, we name it Competency Learning as a Service. It actually stands for CLAAS, stands for Competency Learning as a Service, essentially is an on-demand learning and mentoring platform. So we combine learning and mentoring because our learning pedagogy do not just disseminate knowledge, we do that, but we also mentor you to apply that knowledge to using a real life project. Therefore, acquiring the skill and potentially the business outcome. So to do that, there are 3 design principles to our learning approach to class. Number 1, it is a competency-based curriculum. Number 2, it needs to be a work-integrated applied learning delivery. Number 3, it needs to be a personalized blended learning delivery. I'm going to drill into each of them to share with you what we mean. All our curriculum is designed and developed that get accredited with the Singapore Competency Framework. Singapore have created a skill framework. This skill framework are what Singapore see as future job that the economy need. Based on this future job, the framework establish what are the skill and competency and what type of training would be needed to deliver that skill and competency. All our programs in Singapore are funded as high as 70 to 90% by the government. For us to qualify to be funded, we have to be accredited as part of the competency framework. So the starting point would always be, what job are you going to prepare yourself for? Then we deliver training that deliver those competency and skill for specific job. So that's the starting point. So our curriculum is different generally from traditional academic university. It's more a skill-based type of curriculum. Having said that, we understand that the learner want a degree qualification. So we have took our competency framework, get it cross-accredited with international university. Our curriculum, therefore, combine the best of competency curriculum and academic qualification credential. So our curriculum is accredited by international accrediting agency, Pearson from UK, which is actually the largest learning company in the world. And our current curriculum are accredited to about 100 universities in UK and Australia. The second piece is having that curriculum, we need to have a flexible way of delivering that curriculum. So this curriculum is structured around learning object. And this learning object are independent learning object that like a Lego brick that you can fix them together for different purposes. And you can deliver them. These obviously are PowerPoint, videos, reading materials, and you can consume them as an e-content for self-paced e-learning. But self-paced e-learning will not be good enough. You must have live activity. That live activity can be like what I'm doing now, basically live, but online. But live also can be offline, physically. So we call that activity. There are different types of activity. A lecture is an activity. A mentoring is an activity. A one-to-one coaching is an activity. But activity means live. So we need to combine e-learning with live activity. It could be online to offline to actually come to support that learning journey. Learning also not need to be social, because if you are part of a class, you can also learn from your classmate, and there is a social learning. So that's what we do in terms of support. So just imagine, when you go through our learning pathway, you would start with e-learning. After you learn, you come to the class, you would have a flipped class live lecture to clarify your concept. Then you want to execute a new project. With that knowledge, you would be assigned a mentor. That mentor would work with you to implement that project. And you would get access based on that project at the end. And the whole learning journey, you would be working together with your classmate, with industry practitioner. You would get that learning support, and we would access you across that work to learn journey. And therefore, our learning can be configured across learning, across different channels. It can also be personalized. So learning can happen at home, at work, as well as in the classroom. So we call that learning with ease. And our mode of learning is different from conventional learning. Conventional learning tend to be a lecture disseminating knowledge to 35, 40, 50 students. That is okay for disseminating knowledge. We do that as well. But in order to get skill, meaning that you need to apply that knowledge to a real life project, you would need that personalized mentoring. That's when we go into a coaching and mentoring approach, and we could reduce the industry, we could take the industry mentor. And when you do that, you might only have 5 students to 1 mentor in order to have enough attention to actually know how to apply it to a real life project. So we call that the 70-20-10 model, which essentially say that actually what you gain in the classroom, probably only 10% of the ultimate skill and knowledge that you need. You would gain another 20% through mentoring and coaching. In fact, your mastery of the skill can only be obtained on the job. So that's why it's 70-20-10. So essentially, our learning is trying to bring you from the classroom into the workplace so that you can deepen your skill to get that skill. So this is an example of what we call KSA, conceptual knowledge, skill, and ability. And we move from e-learning with flipped class to work-based mentoring. Imagining that you have a real-life project, you get an industry expert to help you to implement that project. So that's coaching and mentoring. After you have done that, when you go back to the workplace, if you want to master your skill, in fact, we allow our industry mentor to follow you to your workplace to continue to help you to apply that skill at the workplace, therefore master that skill. So this is what we call mentor-led work-based learning. This is a learning pedagogy that will be required to deliver skill and also led to business outcome. So I spoke about our investment over the last 5 years, and there are many skills that have came out in the last 5 years. This new skill, right? I think you hear it every day that there's something new coming out, and there are so many different terms, and it's really difficult to follow. And so we have identify all those major skill, major technology that is emerging, and we develop curriculum to deliver skills behind this technology. So we have over 100 modules, which we cluster together to deliver skill and competency for specific job. So there are 8 areas that we have job that we have defined that we prepared curriculum to meet those jobs. These are just a combination of technology job as well as business job. So if you think about it, actually many of the jobs that require deep technology skill is not only tech job. In fact, majority of the future job would require skill deepening. They still need their business knowledge, the business domain knowledge. In fact, they become a hybrid talent that have deep technology skill as well as deep business domain skill. I'll give you an example of this job. In the past, if I'm an accountant, I need to know technology skill. Even many years ago, 10 years, 20 years ago, as an accountant, I need to know technology skill. But what's that technology skill? Spreadsheet, right? So if you do not know spreadsheets 10 years ago, I don't think you'll ever get employed as an accountant. But today, if you say that I know spreadsheet and that's not good enough, you need to deepen your technology skill to data analytics, data science. So that deepening of the skill could be a 300 hours training to get you that skill to even stay at your job as an accountant. So there are many jobs of that nature. Another job is sales. If you are not half a digital marketer, you are actually not going to be a very good digital salesperson. So every job requires the deepening of that skill. So we have this training that deliver those skills, future ready skill, to be able to bridge that digital skill gap that your job is having. Therefore, uplift you to become a multidisciplinary skill talent to be able to keep those jobs or advance into a higher growth job. So if you look at the area that we cover, clearly there are 3 areas that are technical, like system administration, cloud administration, cybersecurity, IoT, software development, artificial intelligence. But there are many areas that you don't need to be, it's not a technical job, such as digital business, digital sales, innovation manager, digital marketing, digital application implementation, data science. Those are jobs that need to be the deepening skill that couple with business domain for this future job. I'm going to give you one example. We have 2 type of program that we would like to work with you to bring that program to the market. The first program is a bachelor program, undergraduate program. The second program is a postgraduate program. I'm going to go into each of these programs are slightly different in terms of the objective that it's trying to deliver. For applied bachelor program is to induct the learner into a career before they graduate, right? So instead of after you study, you come out and you want to get a job 6 months later on, and that's when you induct into a career. We want to induct you into a career after 12 months you join the program. And you work for 3 to 4 years, 2 to 3 years before, by the time you graduate. So when you graduate, you actually have 2 to 3 years of experience. So this is a program. On the first year, it's a very intensive boot camp. You basically studying from 9 to 6 o'clock every day for 12 months. And we put 2,000 guided learning and mentoring hours to make sure that the learner becoming a full stack software developer and ready to start work on the 13th month. The second year, third year, fourth year, they will be only studying part-time. In fact, only 3 hours a week, but they'll be working full-time. But during the work, they will be using real-life project, and that curriculum will be accessed as part of the coursework. So therefore, 1 year full-time, 3 years working full-time. 1 year studying full-time, 3 years working full-time. So it's a 4 years program because it's one, from a learning perspective, it's 1 year full-time, 3 years part-time. But clearly, if the learner want to finish in 3 years, that means 2 years of working, they want to finish the 3 years part-time, they can do that as well. So with that program, we have been able to deliver significantly better career outcome and also financial outcome. So our graduate, when they graduate, they were 3 years experience, as I said. So they would have inducted into career for 3 years. Depending on which country, your salary when you graduate will double or triple compared to conventional university. In Myanmar, it tripled. Why? A conventional IT graduate from Myanmar make $250, but our graduate deliver $750. In Indonesia, if IT graduate make $400, we target to deliver $800 when they graduate for Indonesian university, for university graduate. So pay double or triple compared to conventional graduate. So therefore, we have superior outcome because of two reasons that they will make $800, they will make $750. It's not just the working experience, the 3 years working experience that help them to double or triple their graduation pay. Is another skill that I'm going to share with you. Is what you call the global ready skill. Skill that enable them to be able to work on international projects. Because they have gained, when they work with us, strong English skill, communication skill, understand how to work across culture, and be able to work in an international environment. So they're global ready. So in Indonesia, I'm sure you know that when you interview a candidate, you probably look at two things. First, technical skill and experience. Second is actually their communication ability, their ability to work on international projects, their English communication. So our graduate have strong global ready skill. Why? Because when they join our program, when they check into the physical campus, they would check into a digital campus. The digital campus would have their classmates across Asia, including those from Singapore, from Myanmar, from India. And the only way that we speak is English. So everybody have to speak English, not just on the learning, also when they do joint project, also when they work with the employer that we are putting together to hire them for 3 years as an apprentice, they are actually international employer. So with that global ready skill and that 3 years experience, they double or triple. That's not the biggest value that we deliver for our program. The fact that they can work for 3 years. In fact, 80% of our graduate, they would make money when they graduate after minus of the tuition fee. Because 50% of the graduate would make 16,000 US dollar. The course fee is only 10.8 thousand US dollar. So they will make actually 5 to 6,000 US because they were able to work for 3 years. And we are so confident about our training that we guarantee that they'll make at least 5,400 US dollar while they study. So I'm going to share with you the number. Okay, so the number is essentially, the fee is 10,800 US, and they can make from 5,000 for a minimum 5.4 thousand US to 16,000 US. Therefore, it depends on their performance, on their job, on how well they do during that 3 years. That 3 years we call it apprentice. On the 13th month, we place an international employer to interview them, and we would actually, the international employer will hire them as an offshore talent. They don't come to Singapore, but they are the offshore talent. This offshore talent can sit on the university campus. In fact, they will host this talent in the university campus, but they are offshore talent that do software work for the Singapore company. So that's how it works. Essentially, it means that 3 out of 4 years, they are actually working in your campus for an international company. So integrating that job placement into our training would enable the learner to induct into the career 3 years before they graduate. The master program are slightly different because the master program target 2 type of learner. The first learner are the self-sponsor learner. There are many of these working adults today. They need to reskill. One of the example I talk about is that accountant. If the accountant don't spend 150 hours to get a sort of postgraduate certificate, he unlikely is going to keep his job because you need data analytic to become an accountant. So these are self-sponsored graduate. The second type of learner is actually company sponsor. The company want to transform their business. So we have created a program in such a way that when they send their people in, we are not just scaling up their people, but actually provide a mentor, industry expert, to actually handhold them to apply that learning to their workplace. So actually, by the time they finish the learning, they actually transform the business at the same time because they are taking a real life project and utilize that skill that led to the transformation of the business. So the business benefit not just from getting their workforce reskill, but more importantly, they get the skill talent plus the mentor, industry mentor, to actually execute that real life project that led to the digital transformation for the business. So a key part of that learning is the industry practitioner. These are industry transformation consultant like digital marketing, data scientists, digital business professional. So I've shared with you how we digitalize our learning that led to career induction, also led to business transformation. The key point to take is this: a big part of that learning journey is actually learning through work. Because of the opportunity to learn through work, we are able to reduce the opportunity cost for that learner. Because if they can make money 3 out of the 4 years, they'll be able to offset their tuition fee, and which is one of the major problem. So despite we are a 10,000 US dollar program, we think it would still be competitive in Indonesia. Why? Because we guarantee minimum 5,000 US of earning. So in the worst case situation, the learner have to pay 5,000 US, which is closer to the most of the degree program costs in Indonesia. And if they are good enough, in fact, if they are the majority, they will be actually, it become a free education for them. So we hope to target the middle class that could not afford international education, willing to work hard, and so they can work while they are studying to actually pay for this education to become an international talent. So the campus, because of the work to learn journey, we need technology, we need that can support that journey. So obviously what you are sitting on is a WebEx training room. You are on this WebEx training room platform that we use to deliver that training to our learner. We also have an edX learning management system. We also have something called the virtual artificial intelligence mentor. This AI mentor helps to facilitate the learning in the blended learning journey, because the blended learning journey move through different stakeholder, from lecturer to mentor to tutor and to the employer. We need a sort of technology to manage that learning journey. I'm not going to go too detailed into it, but this Omni mentor actually can predict if a student is going to fail halfway through the program. So, and not just able to predict, but it also help the learner to adapt to that type of learning journey that we are delivering. Okay, so I have gone through and share with you a learning approach, a digitalized learning that deliver tangible outcome. I also share with you the technology that help you to make the campus, an online to offline campus, a smart campus that able to support this type of learning. How do we deliver this to Indonesia, to your market? So we need an agile faculty and ecosystem to support this. To do this, Litan can't do it on your own, you can't do it on your own, and we need to put together a platform that support that. So what we have put together, and we hope that you'll be a part of it, is called a digital learning and talent platform. It's a platform that we would have student and adult, we would have employer and enterprise, we would have university and the government, and we also would have industry expert and the technology vendor. Why technology vendor? Because many of the things that we learn are all related to this new technology. Like, for example, SAP, Microsoft, Google, they are all big tech technology, and we curate curriculum from them. We use their software to actually deliver that learning. So they must be part of the ecosystem. So we are pulling together the different stakeholder to future ready talent and enterprises. So this is actually a regional platform. The employer generally in Singapore, and the university will be local, and will be able to match the learner from Indonesia to an employer in Singapore and get recruited by university locally and get mentored by industry expert from Singapore or from India. So it's a collaborative ecosystem that support that seamless learning to work journey.
I am on mute.
Okay. So what we are proposing to you is to co-brand what we call an applied academy in your school. Obviously, this program sound and look very different from your academic education, because, and therefore, we are proposing 8 program that we can work with you, so that we can actually create an applied academy that deliver this digital skill to the community. And the class academy in your campus would actually be parts of a regional platform that we put together. So your learner would get plugged into an international cohort that will be able to get mentored by international expert, and also get employed by Singapore company, international company in Singapore, and to be able to recruited by university locally. And by putting this ecosystem together, we are developing talent that would be global ready. And the platform, not just actually in supporting the learning journey of the learner, it also becoming a platform with international employer to support employer and university for regional job placement, student recruitment. So a Singapore employer, an Indian university might want to send their student to Indonesia, to Bali for 6 months in a Bali university. And they could do that student exchange so that there are opportunity for the different university partner in each of these countries to actually work with each other so that the learner are truly exposed and become global ready talent when they graduate. So I'm not just talking about higher education product. I'm also talking about applied learning. So this applied academy is a lot more than just doing training. It actually delivers a solution and also becoming a talent provider for the company. So how do we work together? Lytton have the curriculum. We have the industry expert. We have the learning technology that I share with you. We can combine with your campus, with your degree awarding authority, and your student recruitment capability. So together, we can actually launch this program very, very quickly. Generally, the only thing that we really need that can be a constraint, which depending on which country, is the accreditation of our content in your country. I'm glad that in Indonesia, certain university already have a category A level or B that they do not need to get that accreditation. So therefore, we think that if we work quickly, we potentially can roll out this program as early as the September, October intake. And for employer acquisition and enterprise acquisition, we would take care of the international job placement. And we also have some local employer that we would actually be engaging to support that job placement as well. I hope that I have shared with you our own experience in our transformation, but also provide you the opportunity to see how whatever that we have done, we could actually work with you to go through that same transformation that we have gone through, but certainly with a lot less effort, with a lot less pain, with a lot less cost, because all those curriculum is already done, and we have the curated also industry expert that could deliver it. And we look forward to working with you to future ready university in Indonesia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Leslie. I believe your share will enlighten all of us here and how to prepare our university to be ready for digital economy. Mr. Leslie, please turn off your camera and mute yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, selanjutnya kami akan menghadirkan guest of honor. Please welcome Mr. Wikan Sakarito, ST, MSc, PhD. Mr. Wikan adalah Director General Vocational Education, Ministry of Education, Republik of Indonesia. Pak Wikan, we hand it over the stage to you. please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Kami persilakan Bapak Wikan Sakarinto, ST, MSc, and PhD. Ya, beliau adalah Direktur Jenderal Vocational MOI Republik Indonesia. Bapak Wikan kami persilakan dan mohon sebelumnya kamera dinyalakan dan di-unmute Bapak. Mohon maaf, Bapak Ibu, saya baru dapat pemberitahuan dari personal assistance-nya. Beliau halo? Halo, Pak Wikan atau Pak Denny? Halo? Halo, Pak Wikan atau Pak Denny? Bisa dengar suara saya? Halo, Pak Wikan atau Pak Denny? Bisa dengar suara saya? Sebentar Bapak Ibu, saya mute saya dulu. Mr. Shop, can you hear me? Mr. Shop Kagda, can you hear me? Mr. Shop? Mr. Shop, can you hear me? Hello? Mr. Shop, can you hear me? Okay, then, Dr. Dadan, can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Very sorry, I have to move you. Are you ready, Pak?
Okay, it's okay.
Okay, so give me a minute, then Mr. Salio, can you please move forward for Mr. Dadan to be present? Thank you very much. So, mohon maaf Bapak Ibu untuk sedikit berlibat. Selanjutnya akan kami persembahkan kepada Bapak Ibu sekalian Dr. Dadan Rahadian. Beliau adalah Vice Rector untuk akademik dari Telkom University. Pak Dadan akan share about bagaimana Telkom University bertransformasi to become a blended learning pedagogy and how the importance of developing future-ready talents skill set for the students to compete with international talents. Bapak Dadan, Bapak Dr. Dadan Rahadian, we are handing over the stage to you. Please turn on your camera, and I aware that you already unmute yourself. Pak Dadan, silakan waktu untuk Bapak berpresentasi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tommy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On this 10 minutes, ya, Mr. Tommy?
Yeah. Correct, Pak. 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes.
Okay, only 10 minutes. Okay. On this 10-minute webinar, I try to share how we prepare Telkom University graduates to become work-ready graduates who have skill set that are in line with the requirement of the industry in the future. In the beginning, I also briefly review the role of blended learning as a catalyst in creating an independent learning or Merdeka Belajar. Yeah, we call it Merdeka Belajar environment oriented to the industrial environment. Bapak Ibu sekalian, ya, in the future, like Mr. Leslie has already mentioned, that online learning is believed to be the important part of the blended learning system in higher education. But in fact, at present, it is not interesting method for students. Yeah. When Minister on June 15 announced the next semester lectures at all educational institutions continue to use online learning model, in general, their comments were divided into three groups. No income, online lecturer were boring, face-to-face lecturer were more interesting rather than online learning. This is the fact, ladies and gentlemen. I think this would be an input for educator on how the blended learning method is planned and implemented in the higher education institution. Lecturer as instructor and student as learner are still transforming. Yeah, currently are still transforming. Lecturer must understand how to make structured, interactive, and innovative online learning in order to create an interesting learning environment. So blended learning, like Mr. Leslie already mentioned very deeply before, blended learning is a learning method that combines instruction in face-to-face meeting with computer-mediated instruction. Blended learning is widely used because it can improve pedagogy, yeah, like already mentioned before, increase access and flexibility, and increase cost effectiveness. I will not explain in detail how blended learning, but I underline how the vital role of the blended learning model in creating a better learning environment for students and lecturers in the future. In addition to the blended learning model that will dominate the higher education learning model in the future, Joost Daniels Eller, a German researcher, said that based on expert opinion, based on her research, there are four main pillars that influence the development of higher education in the future. First, the education must focus on the future skills. Future skills radically change the definition of attribute of graduates of current study program in higher education. And the second one, the study program that are multi-institutional. Higher education will increasingly become a place to gain multi-institutional study experience. The provision of higher education is increasingly moving from the one institution model to become multi-institution model, yeah, where higher education is provided through an alliance of several institutions. I think that Lytton has already developed some kind of collaboration between the Lytton and other institutions of higher education. And the third one, that personalized curriculum. The curriculum of the academic program moved from a structure that is fully predetermined and given in advance to more flexible, personalized, and participatory model where students actively collaborate with lecturers in building higher education curriculum program. And the last one, it allows the student to study for life, or we call it the lifelong learning, ya, atau belajar sepanjang hayat. The higher education model prepares students for future profession, supplemented by offer for lifelong learning. Okay, this is the scenario building of the student perspective also. The result of the you have done your study in the perspective of students, so that there were different intensities toward the main pillar that influence the development of higher education in the future. The most pressing is to focus on future skills, which are then followed by pillars of multi-institutional study program, curriculum personalization, and finally, lifelong learning. I think this the important thing for us that when we want to develop a curriculum for our university. Ladies and gentlemen, the industry is currently moving very fast due to the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Information technology and digitalization become the main ingredient of the theme of the transformation of business organization. The boundaries between industrial sectors are increasingly unclear. As a result, as stated by the previous panelists, many new professions have emerged which have the potential to erase some of the previously established professions. The need for technology-oriented talents in the future is beginning to be widely defined. On the other hand, higher education curriculum tend to be static, compiled based on historical 5 years data, delivered in the learning process for the next 5 years, and used by the graduate for the period after the graduation. This condition results in a gap between the competency of university graduates with the competency expected by the industry. Program Merdeka Belajar or freedom learning policy has provided a space for a university to design curriculum that is oriented toward industrial development. Students are given the right to study outside the study program for 3 semesters, including participating in learning activities in industry. One of the implementation of this policy at Telkom University is that students can choose to be a professional, entrepreneurs, or to become an academician in a program that we call it Work Ready Program or WRAP. For example, that to become a professional, student can take part in an internship in a company for 1 or 2 semesters full-time. The curriculum can be adapted to the talent skill needed by the company in the future. It is also a form of institutional blended learning, which is collaboration between university and industry or a certain company. Since learning activity in industry are often not the same period as the academic period, courses that still need to be taken are carried out online, by online learning or blended learning. I think we highly appreciate for the program Merdeka Belajar, by the government, which allow us to prepare Telkom University to become a future institutional study program, personalized curriculum, and enable student learning. Next. Okay, I think that Tommy, that's all my presentation. We have 10 minutes. I hope that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dadan. We wish you and your university all the best with your transformation program. Please turn off your camera and mute yourself. Terima kasih Pak Dadan untuk presentasi yang telah diberikan. Kami harap Bapak dan Universitas Telkom berhasil dengan program transformasinya. Tolong dimatikan lagi kamera dan mute yourself, Bapak. Oke, Bapak, di Webex ini saya melihat jumlah peserta sampai saat ini 336. For your information, ABPTSI menyediakan sertifikat Bapak Ibu untuk yang menghadiri sampai akhir. Jadi mohon diingatkan teman-temannya yang belum hadir sampai saat ini untuk segera login. Karena yang berhak mendapatkan sertifikat adalah yang mengikuti sampai akhir. Begitu, demikian Bapak Ibu. Selanjutnya kami lanjutkan lagi dengan panelis kami selanjutnya. Selanjutnya adalah Bapak Norman Sasono. Bapak Norman Sasono adalah CTO dari Dana Indonesia. Dia akan sharing his experiences about his company challenges of recruiting global talent in Indonesia and how much they will value young fresh graduate who have skills and working experience. Jadi Pak Norman akan sharing pengalaman beliau bagaimana tantangan perusahaannya untuk mendapatkan talent yang global skills-nya bagus dan bagaimana mereka menghargai fresh graduate yang sudah punya skills dan juga punya working experience. Pak Norman, the stage is yours. We are handing it over to you. Please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. It's your time now, Pak Norman.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think my video is on, and also my speaker is also not on mute. I just need to click the slide right. Thank you very much. So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So I would like to share a little bit of my experience working with engineers from all over the globe, fresh grads and some experienced guys through different stages of companies, and maybe there are some learnings that I get that I can share and will be beneficial for all of us. So yeah, I think the reason I put this slide is just to show that I have some different perspective and experience from working in a multinational company, big one like Microsoft, which is almost half of my career is in Microsoft, and from that whole 20 years experience. And I got experience working in a local company, in a regional company, building my own companies, one that is bootstrap, working with 2-3 developers only. And the other one is a venture-backed startup that I built 4 or 5 years ago, where I just started with 5 developers, basically anyone that I could get to work with me. And we grew until we become 150 developers. Before then, I joined Dana and become their CTO. And right now, leading about 350 engineers. So we work with engineers from various levels, fresh grads till experience, from various graduates from universities from Indonesia as well as from abroad. So yeah, this is a little bit about Dana. So right now, Dana, as a payment system provider, we serve 40 million users in Indonesia. We are targeting to serve 100 million in the next couple of years, and eventually all Indonesians. And at the day, we managed to do up to 3 million transactions. And as I mentioned earlier, we have almost 700 people in the team, and 60% of them, so 350 or so, are engineers building the systems, running the systems. So these are the kind of scalability that we work on daily basis, and I will share on the kind of engineers or fresh graduates that we expect to become an engineers in organizations like us. And I make a very oversimplified model of skill set. As you can see here, the horizontal line, the axis is time, and the ordinate or the vertical line is skill and knowledge. And the intersection is the 0.0 is the time when the student graduate. So on the graduation date, as you can see, there are 2 guys here, the yellow guy and the blue guy. At the time of graduation, we can see that the yellow guy has higher skill and knowledge, and blue guy has lower. But along the time, as we can see there at time t, there is an intersection of the 2, and eventually the skill and knowledge of the blue guy is increasing, while the yellow guy is also increasing, but at a lower pace. So let's say if we can say that a person has 2 aspects, which is the skill and knowledge that they already have, and also the gradient, which is the learning capabilities and the fundamentals capabilities that they have is the gradient. So from this, And from my experience, if I want to work on a project in a time duration less than T, I would prefer the yellow guy any day because he simply have the more skill and knowledge. But if I'm going to recruit someone for a long time to build products and go through a lot of iterations for years and want them to become a successful person in the company, I would hire the blue guy, even though at the beginning his skill and knowledge is below, but his gradient is higher. Hence, along the time, he will have more skill and knowledge. When I say gradient, as I said earlier, it is about the fundamentals capabilities, the raw smart of the person, and the capability to learn new things fast. I think these are way more important than what they already know. So if I may share the issues that we face right now in the industry is that there are education entities that teaches the latest trendy technology, the trendy programming language, the trendy programming products and tools, but they just teach the product, the using of the product. So they're not really good and they kind of lack in teaching of the fundamentals, things like the algorithms, data structure, architecture, and engineering principles in general. So these are the situation. On the other end, there are universities or education entities that really teaches the fundamentals very well. They are strong in teaching algorithm, data structure, architecture, engineering principles. But somehow they're using an old and obsolete technology and product, so they're not really relevant. But the bigger issues I think we face right now is seems like no one really help and teaches the students on learning how to learn, while these are actually the most important thing, because in technology field, things that you know now may be obsolete in the next couple of years or so. So you need to learn all the new stuff again. Meanwhile, the fundamentals is actually still there. So the expectations from us in the industry is that we want someone, of course, integrity and honesty and all these things are the main thing that needs to be there. But that's kind of like step zero. So I eliminated that from this deck. So we expect ones that really have a strong computational thinking, which is uh, abilities to do abstraction, make an abstract concept of reality, have a strong recognition on patterns, capable to decompose complex concept into a smaller and simpler complex, and eventually has a strong systematic algorithmic problem solving capabilities. And of course, it will be great to have a strong fundamental, so knows the algorithms, data structure, architecture, and engineering principles. Because, yeah, as I said earlier, most of the time these schools are just teaching coding, while coding is just like a small thing when you're really going to build something to serve 100 million users. There, you would need a stronger engineering principles there. And if it's not going to be taught in school, then uh, means the grad is not really industry ready. Then number three after that, of course, to get familiar with the latest technology, the trendy programming language, products and tools. And once you have all this, I've noticed also the key differentiator that makes the difference between those that become a star, become a rock star, that become successful in the technology companies are those not just having the strong computational thinking, fundamentals, and familiar with latest technologies, but more on those who have strong work ethics, meaning they work hard, and also those that have a good teamwork capabilities, those that are good in doing communication and presentation skills, leadership, can devise and articulate vision, inspire others and drive others towards that vision, and also creativity. So these are the expectations and the key differentiators. And yeah, Dana, as a technology company where majority of our employees are engineers, we will always recruit engineers. But during this pandemic, we're kind of like doing hiring freeze until we have a clearer and certainty on the macros and the business ecosystem. Then we will go back into a more aggressive hiring. And we hire engineers from all across the globe. All of my engineers right now are Indonesians, but there are guys that study in the country. There are guys that study abroad. So, it doesn't really matter. What we really care is what I shared in the previous slide. If they can demonstrate this well, then they have a good chance to become part of our engineering team. So yeah, we build apps, SDK, website for third party to use our system. We build our system deployed in our data center. We have integration with bank, merchants, and other partners, serving 40 million users now, going to serve 100 million users, and eventually all Indonesians. And to build such kind of a big, complex, scalable, and secure system, as we can see, coding is become tiny. It's just like a small thing, even though it's very important, but it is not everything. So we require someone with a strong engineering capabilities and a strong capabilities to learn new things fast. And the expectation is because we're going to face things that we've never faced before. So we need someone that is capable to approach new kind of problems and come up with new kind of solutions. So not just memorizing or just apply what you already know and learn from schools. So to close, again, I just want to emphasize this, especially for students and the first job workers, also the fresh graduates, that we've been hearing a lot about. We need to work smart, not work hard. I 100% agree with this statement, but then it's kind of like overrated. So the issue is everyone in the world now is smart. Knowledge and skill set is accessible for anyone. So the only way to make a difference between you and the crowd, if everyone is smart, is how hard you're going to work. So that would be my last slide. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Norman. We all wish you and your company to be the leader in digital payment industry in Indonesia. Please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. So, Bapak, Ibu, semua, selanjutnya kami hadirkan Mr. Yang Lambreh. He is the CEO of Epitome. Mr. Yang, we are handed over the stage to you. Can you please turn on your camera and unmute yourself?
Okay. Hi, everybody. Jan here of Epitome. Based in Malaysia and Singapore at this moment. I'm a bit wary of the time, so I'm going to try to do my pitch in a few less minutes than 10. So we are a lifelong learning organization, and we have a focus on human development. So basically, we try to find identity and purpose for everybody in the world, and basically be the best version of yourself. So it doesn't mean that you fail at school, that you're going to fail at life. It doesn't mean that you have been an accountant all your life and you just were retrenched at your job, that you don't have any future. You actually already have 85% of the mathematical mindset to become a data scientist. So on the next slide, I would like to show you some data. And what we have found out in ASEAN, so including Indonesian graduates and quite a large portion of Indonesian graduates, is that only 21% of them is in alignment with their career choice. So basically, only 21% really understood what they studied and understood what it would mean when they go to the workforce and what skills they would have to apply. But there is a very large chunk of these students that are unclear and not confident about them entering the workforce. And this is where we then have created quite a bit of career services to better facilitate the student to take the best decisions in their next steps. So for example, through our data, we will see when we should be linking a student with an internship or with a mentor or with a coach, or if he's ready for the job straight away. So on the next slide, what we have built is basically a lifelong learning portal for the students. So the universities will be able to use this, and all the students will be coming on here and we will be helping them in every stage of their life or every stage in their education. So basically what we are doing here is we will be creating a path for their life and not only for their studies. We will be finding out how they learn, we will be understanding how they absorb information, we will be knowing when they are ready for an internship, and also after they went into the industry and their job or their industry became obsolete after a few years, they should be able to return to the university to look into lifelong learning courses and to other content that can be applied to make them employable in the future again. So on the next slide, and this is basically a message to you guys, what we should be doing from the beginning, and especially in these times, is start capturing those analytics of our students. Start capturing their values, their interests, and their preferences. Start understanding the students that we are intaking. We see that a lot of students, they come into a university, but basically they came there because their mom or their dad wanted them to become an engineer, or they followed their best friend to school. This is also a better way of understanding than a student, so that we can then guide him into his learning process through the university. So after we know all these, and on the next slide, then there is some other parts. After we have an understanding of the students and their learning style and their learning patterns, etc. This is where we then can match them to internships, match them to content, match them to apprenticeships, and basically make them employable and make it able to connect them then straight to the industry. Basically, we connect them through internships, to apprenticeships, or whatsoever. So the platform that we will be bringing is purely based on analytics and data, and we'll be helping the universities to understand on how to make the students more employable in the future. So that was my 2 cents here. If there is any questions or feedback, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Jan for the presentation. Untuk Bapak Ibu yang ingin mengetahui lebih lanjut mengenai perusahaannya, I believe he's open for further discussion. Am I right, Jan? So please turn off your camera and mute yourself. Selanjutnya Bapak Ibu kita akan masuk ke question and answer. Jadi untuk yang sudah bertanya, kami ingatkan kembali, panitia menyediakan 5 paket pulsa senilai Rp100.000 per masing-masing. Untuk selanjutnya QA akan dimoderator oleh Dr. Winadi. Dr. Winadi, we hand it over the stage to you. I see you already turn on your camera. So your time, Pak.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Tommy. Can you hear my voice very clear?
Yes, I can. And yeah. I believe all other over there can also.
Okay, thank you very much for all the panelists dan bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu. Terima kasih banyak-banyak for the information. We have now almost 400 people registered in Webex, but we have also 350 participants using YouTube channel, yeah, because we have anticipated for people that are not familiar with Webex, so they can use our YouTube link. So it means total number of participants we have now about 700 people. So okay, actually I want to recap what the panelists explained to us, but because of there are some question coming to me. So, bapak-bapak, ibu, 5 orang ini akan mendapat yaitu gratis voucher kuota 100.000, yang mana pertanyaan sudah masuk kepada meja saya. Saya akan baca. So, the first question goes to Mr. Leslie, yeah, Mr. Leslie. So, one question coming from Mr. Akmal Ramdan. He is a lecturer from Muara Enim, South Sumatra. Yeah, the question to you is following. So how effective is the online learning and teaching? And the second one is, how do you address with area that has not a good internet connection to enable they want to learn in the online era? So that is the first question goes to Mr. Leslie. Can you answer directly, Mr. Leslie?
Yes. Thank you for the question. I'll answer the second question first. It's an easier question. Clearly, in many part of ASEAN, there are still spots that might not have that right connection. So what we do is we set up a learning campus close by so that they can be closer to that physical learning campus. So our learning campus have very efficient telecommunication infrastructure so that we can make that learning experience better. So that's one. I think the first question is a little bit more complex. You were saying that is e-learning effective, right? When the COVID hit in Singapore, the 8 weeks that basically people have to learn from home, from university right down to high school, to primary school, to tuition center, there are different mixed reaction, right? There are player who switch over very quickly that really go entirely e-learning, right? E-learning generally mean self-paced e-learning, right? We put some material on the web. They could actually read it at their own time. And this is not very effective because, I mean, this e-learning been around for a long time, right? And Coursera is started really pure e-learning, and only 3 out of 100 ultimately complete the course. So, so clearly e-learning itself, we don't think it works very well. That's why the right way, and increasingly we are hearing many reports that the blended learning should be the way. So blended learning actually combine what you call synchronous learning and asynchronous learning, right? So they're learning that live both way, like what we are doing now, we are interacting. It's actually live. They are self-paced e-learning. So you need to combine that. Even the live activity, the live can be physical. It can be also online and offline. So you need to find the right mix of this technology. So this is only one step to make it to make the learning experience, the delivery channel flexible. But that itself, we don't think that it deliver that type of outcome that solve today's problem. The problem today is you really need to combine that delivery mode with pedagogy differences, right? So that's why for us, we actually have a sort of personalized mentoring add on to massification of that broadcast of that information by a right mix of learning pedagogy, then you would get that type of outcome, which is ultimately what we all should be measured on. Learning is, do I get that outcome? Do I get that skill? Do I get that business? Do I get that career enhancement?
Okay, thank you very much. The second question goes to Mr. Yan and Mr. Danang from Telu. So this question coming from Miss Indah Listi from University Tanjung Pura Pontianak, West Borneo, West Kalimantan. So the question is to both panel from the Telkom University and Mr. Yan. How do you include the local content to ensure that online or the teaching and learning or blended mode can be done effectively? Can you understand? Can you follow, Mr. Yan and Mr. Dana?
Yeah.
Okay, please, Mr. Yan
who
first.
starts first? Okay, so if I understand the question correctly. So what we do, what I can tell you what we do in our case is once we have profiled the students or the individuals, we basically detect and know their values, their interests, and their preferences. If you look into it in a high level, we would know how that particular student studies. We would know what would be his interest in life. We would know why he would wake up in the morning and how he would be motivated. And motivation is important because motivation has a direct correlation to performance at work. If you know all that information, and then you look at the content that you guys have yourself within the universities, but also open content from the Udemy's and the Coursera's, whoever it is, then we would be able, through a curation engine and through a matching process, we would be able to match the right content to that particular student and how he learns and so we would be able to basically upskill him more efficiently by connecting him to the right content that would give the right outcome when he goes into the industry.
Please, Dr. Danan from tell you your answer. So, are you around?
Okay, already here?
Okay, please.
Yeah, okay. You hear my voice, Tommy?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can hear you,
About
Pak.
the local content of the. Yeah. I just to make sure that about the question, Mr. Winarlo, it's about the local content can be done in the blended learning. Is it correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that based on our experience that currently so many students have many preferences about the some learning preferences. For example, that many students from the engineering study, for example, that currently many prefer how to learn about the what is called entrepreneurship, for example. That so we give them the entrepreneurship subject for all the students that have preferences to take that kind of the subject, and we also give them more widely preferences for other subject, yeah, maybe for in terms of the community program and so on. I think that's Mr. Winarno, maybe.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, on my desk there are so many questions coming to me. So we just select here the best question. Yeah. So we have here a question goes to Mr. Leslie. Yeah. Please,
Yeah.
Mr. Leslie. The question coming from Maya, University of Cirebon, West Java. So she touched on the learning model, 70% on the job experience. The question is, how do you ensure that university has partnership with company to build a good curriculum? Please, can you follow me?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
please.
So that's a good question. Essentially, firstly, that learning journey that we deliver, there are two parts to it. The first part is learning the knowledge and the skill on the first year, but the second, third, fourth is actually working as apprentice for a company. So what Lytton do is we get the employer to hire the learner as an intern or as apprentice. You might call them intern, we call them apprentice. So we would be responsible for getting that Singapore international company to hire this talent while they learn. That's our model. So did I answer all the question? That was the say who is hiring the learner. So we hire that. So our industry partner who hire them, which is the employer, would actually ensure that they work with us to integrate their skill that they need at the workplace And therefore, our curriculum is actually contextualized to include the type of skill they need at the workplace with the employer. That's why they are our industry partner. We build, because they work on real life project, so we would have defined the project that they would do.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Leslie, for the clear answer. So, Bapak-bapak, Ibu-ibu, actually, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to read out a question on my desk here, but I have signal from the host that Bapak Wikan is now with us. So it means that Bapak Wikan coming from our Ministry for Education. So then I would like to pass this control to host Mas Tommy. Pak Tommy, please. So I hand offer this control to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Winardi. Bapak Ibu, selanjutnya kami akan menghadirkan Bapak Beni Bandananjaya. Beliau mewakili Pak Wikan yang karena satu dan lain hal ada panggilan mendadak, terpaksa tidak bisa bergabung dengan webinar kami. Pak Beni, kami menyerahkan stage ini kepada Bapak. Kalau Bapak belum familiar, silakan gunakan arrow di kanan itu Pak untuk sliding. Ya. Kameranya sudah on, sudah di unmute. Silakan Pak Beni.
Suara saya sudah terdengar, Pak?
Silakan Pak Beni.
Ya, baik. Baik, saya akan sampaikan dalam bahasa Indonesia, tidak apa ya?
So, welcome Pak Beni. So, welcoming Mr. Beni to present.
Oke, baik. Selamat sore, Bapak-bapak, Ibu-ibu.
Silakan, lebih baik bahasa Indonesia, Pak.
Ya,
kami semua mengerti. Ya, Pak.
Baik. Terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Jadi, baik. Pertama-tama saya mohon maaf karena Pak Dirjen ada keperluan lain yang tidak bisa ditinggalkan. Jadi beliau mengamanatkan untuk menyampaikan paparannya kepada saya. Jadi di sini saya akan sampaikan bagaimana mengembangkan pendidikan vokasi di era kampus Merdeka. Jadi seperti kita tahu bahwa kampus Merdeka ini adalah salah satu program Menteri Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan kita. Itu bagaimana kita bisa kemudian mentransformasikan pendidikan vokasi dalam bentuk kampus Merdeka. Baik, next. Kita akan sampaikan di sini bahwa kita mendapat arahan dari Presiden untuk membangun SDM unggul 2020-2024. Jadi, kalau dilihat memang Kemendikbud sebagai instansi yang membina perguruan tinggi, juga pendidikan menengah, serta pendidikan dasar, bahkan sampai pendidikan usia dini, itu akan diminta untuk bisa menjalankan arahan Presiden ini. Demikian di kami, itu kami berada pada posisi pendidikan tinggi, di mana selain pendidikan tinggi, itu Direktorat Jenderal Vokasi juga membina SMK, atau Sekolah Menengah Kejuruan. Ya, dan arahannya adalah bagaimana SMK, perguruan tinggi vokasi itu dapat berhubungan atau berkolaborasi dengan industri. Ya, dengan demikian, kebutuhannya akan selalu diserap oleh industri dengan baik, karena apa yang diajarkan di perguruan tinggi itu akan selaras dengan apa yang dibutuhkan oleh industri. Oke, nah ini apa yang dituliskan oleh Pak Dirjen disampaikan untuk menjadi pemimpin itu ada perlu legasi atau legalitas dan tercatat pernah menjadi kepala atau berpengalaman. Itu yang seperti apa? Ya, jadi kalau saya sampaikan di sini mungkin programnya Direktorat Pendidikan Vokasi ini ya mengelola pendidikan tinggi vokasi, mengelola juga SMK, mengelola kursus pelatihan juga, kemitraan, penyelarasan industri ya. Jadi kalau bagaimana industri dengan pendidikan tinggi vokasi dan SMK itu bisa disambungkan itu melalui satu direktorat yang khusus mengurusi perihal tersebut, yaitu kemitraan dan penyelarasan dunia usaha, dunia industri atau mitra studi. Nah, ini lulusannya nggak cuma sekedar bagaimana dia menguasai sebuah ilmu, tapi dia bisa apa. Sehingga kita juga arahkan bagaimana lulusan selalu mendapatkan sertifikat kompetensi. Baik, selanjutnya ini adalah 9 program utama ya yang kita canangkan. Yang pertama adalah kurikulum itu harus disusun bersama industri. Ya, jangan sampai nanti industri inginnya A, kita nyusunnya B, jadi nggak nyambung. Itu yang selalu disampaikan oleh Bapak Dirjen. Jadi kita harus menyusun kurikulum dengan mengundang industri. Dengan demikian maka apa yang kita tuliskan di dalam kurikulum itu akan selalu selaras dengan kebutuhan industri. Kemudian di sini kita juga mengundang dosen tamu untuk mengajar di kampus, hingga bagaimana nanti program-program itu memang bisa melibatkan industri, dalam arti industri yang datang ke kampus itu tentunya membawa informasi yang tepat tentang kondisi industri saat ini. Kemudian program magang ini yang sudah jelas sering dilakukan dan menjadi bagian dari kurikulum, bahwa mahasiswa dikirim ke industri, kemudian di sana dia bekerja sesuai dengan bidangnya tentunya, dia mendapatkan pengalaman. Dan saya kira itu tidak akan bisa didapatkan di kuliah. Kemudian yang selanjutnya bagaimana kita bisa membangun kepercayaan sehingga ada komitmen kuat dari industri untuk menyerap lulusan. Jadi tentunya industri tidak akan mau menyerap kalau misalnya tidak ada kepercayaan dari industri bahwa lulusannya memang baik. Ada juga program beasiswa, ikatan dinas, kemudian bridging program pihak industri, ya, memperkenalkan teknologi dan proses industrinya diperlukan kepada para dosen. Artinya dosen-dosen juga kemungkinan memerlukan kerjasama dan pengalaman industri dalam bentuk misalnya magang, misalnya mungkin mengerjakan proyek, kemudian konsultasi dan lain sebagainya. Yang penting juga di sini ada sertifikasi kompetensi bagi lulusan. Tidak hanya oleh perguruan tinggi, tapi juga industri yang berhak mengeluarkan sehingga mereka tersertifikasi dan diakui oleh industri. Jadi industri itu kadang-kadang butuh pengakuan lain selain ijazah. Adanya surat sertifikat kompetensi itu kadang-kadang memang lebih berharga ketika memang spesifikasinya memang sangat diperlukan. Kemudian pihak industri memberikan bantuan peralatan laboratorium itu sangat-sangat membantu dalam arti tentunya peralatan tersebut skala industri atau memang yang berstandar industri saat itu. Terakhir ini ada joint research, bagaimana penelitian kemudian dijalankan bersama industri. Baik, ini garis besarnya, jadi saya akan coba langsung kepada poinnya, bahwa dalam topik yang menjadi tema dari ini adalah blended learning ya, saya baca nih. Sorry, saya lagi lihat topiknya blended learning pedagogi dalam kegiatan belajar mengajar. Jadi kalau saya lihat di sini pengertian blended learning ini adalah kalau kita misalnya memiliki satu mata kuliah, sebagian dilakukan dengan daring, sebagian dilakukan dengan tatap muka. Ya, jadi sebelum ke sana mungkin saya coba sampaikan pula beberapa hal. Bentar, sorry, saya mau sampaikan. Baik. Oke, kita ke implementasi kampus Merdeka dan Merdeka Belajar. Jadi di sini ya perlu diperkenalkan pula bahwa dalam proses implementasi Merdeka Belajar itu yang dimaksud oleh Menteri Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan itu adalah bagaimana mahasiswa diberikan kesempatan untuk bisa belajar di luar prodinya itu sendiri, seperti misalnya di prodi lain dalam kampus atau di prodi lain di luar kampus, ke universitas lain, kemudian juga dia bisa magang di tempat lain, kemudian dia juga bekerja sama dengan misalnya dengan industri untuk bisa melakukan penelitian. Dia juga bisa ke daerah-daerah untuk mengembangkan social skill dalam bentuk kuliah kerja nyata dan lain sebagainya. Sebenarnya ada 8 jenis kegiatan kampus Merdeka. Nah, ini maksudnya apa? Agar mahasiswa itu memiliki wawasan yang lebih luas. Sehingga di sini kalau misalnya mereka diberikan kesempatan, potensi-potensi di dalam dirinya itu akan
Pak
bisa.
Beni, mohon maaf saya interrupt.
Ya, Pak.
Halo Pak Beni, mohon maaf saya interrupt. Bapak
Ya.
punya waktu 1 menit untuk wrap up, Pak.
Baik, wrap up. Baik ya, jadi pada prinsipnya bahwa
Bapak punya 1 menit untuk menyelesaikan, Pak. Mohon maaf.
Ya, makasih. Ya, jadi
Bapak punya 1 menit untuk menyelesaikan, Pak. Mohon maaf.
Ya, baik Pak. Jadi kita simpulkan bahwa intinya dalam pendidikan vokasi yang memang kita dorong adalah bagaimana kolaborasi dengan industri. Sini kita kaitkan dengan implementasi belajar adalah bagaimana mereka kemudian bisa aktif di dalam industri kemudian masuk ke kita, dan demikian akan terbangun. Baik, saya kira itu. Mohon maaf apabila paparan saya ini memang kurang komprehensif, ya karena ini sebetulnya paparan Pak Dirjen, barangkali ada hal yang memang silakan. Jadi akan saya sampaikan berdasarkan apa yang memang saya kuasai dan saya pegang. Terima kasih. Silakan.
Oke, terima kasih Bapak Beni. So, Bapak-bapak, Ibu-ibu,
selanjutnya
kita ada dua pertanyaan. We have the last 2 questions go to Mr. Leslie. Yeah. So, Mr. Leslie, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
One question coming from Papua University. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the question is, here Mr. Amr Lati, Papua University, asks you, how do you go through the pedagogical approach during the COVID pandemic here? Yeah, so that is the one question. The second question coming from Miss Rina Andri from Bandung University, Uniba. So she wanted to know about the EASE. So are the students happy with this method or not? Please, Mr. Leslie, after you answer all the questions, please close up this webinar. And for your information, we have 350 participants registered in Webex and 390 using link in YouTube channel. Okay, that is time is yours, Mr. Leslie.
Yes, thank you very much. The first question is that the first question is, how is that COVID-19, when we locked down, what happened, right? So our learning delivery is actually combination of online and offline. But the offline piece, when the COVID come, we just turn them into live online, what we are doing now, right? So it didn't impact that's why blended learning delivery is so flexible. So you could actually today do that switch across without impact the outcome. Yeah. Sorry, the second question again was, I've forgotten the second question. Can you repeat the second question again? Oh, yeah, okay.
It's about the ease, Pak. The
Okay, the
EASE of
is
your program.
architecture, learning architecture that support blended learning, right? So it's so flexible because you can do self-paced, you can do live, you can do online, offline. If you have the right combination, it has to be better than just using one mode, because you can select how you want those combination, whether you go live or you go offline, online, or self-paced. So that's why that flexibility is there for you to actually deliver it the way you want it for the audience. Thank you. So I understand, I'm sensitive about the time. I understand that many of you need to go for your sembahyang. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and attend this talk. Clearly, we are very excited about wanting to come to Indonesia, and we've been engaging university in Indonesia. So I hope that you would engage us, and we'll be sending you some survey form after this particular meeting. If you have more questions, and clearly we'll be happy to follow up with you. Thank you very much. Also, the panel been incredible, and thank you for taking all the time to be actually part of this webinar, which we put together actually in a very short period of time, and it's almost impossible doing it before COVID. And really, this is also a reflection of how such a type of online to offline type of activity can be a lot more efficient and actually very productive type of session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.
Bapak Ibu, terima kasih semuanya. Semoga kita sehat semua, sehat selalu. Peserta dari Sumatera sampai Papua hadir bersama kita. So, terima kasih sekali lagi. Mudah-mudahan kita semua bisa mengambil pelajaran banyak dari panelis-panelis ini. Mudah-mudahan the close collaboration come soon, ya, to know better what Litan has experienced with his approach. So any collaboration is open up. Any working together both with Litan and with association, we will facilitate. If you are interested more in this mode, we will facilitate you by meeting the Litan people expert and also with your need. So daripada saya, from me, I am as moderator, mengucapkan banyak-banyak terima kasih di atas perhatian Bapak Ibu. Saya ucapkan dari Bandung, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you semua.
Thank you very much all.